Let me pull up this story from timcast.com. Florida mother suing school that secretly discussed gender transition with her middle schooler. Quote, this is happening all over the nation, she said. A Florida school was sued after it helped a student transition gender without informing or seeking the consent of the teen's parents. January Littlejohn, that's her name, said she was outraged when school officials at Deer Lake Middle School in Tallahassee secretly discussed gender and transgenderism with her daughter without her knowledge. This is happening all over the nation. This same protocol is in place in many, many schools across districts everywhere, and even the guides being used to dictate these transgender support plans that cut parents out even have the same language. Littlejohn said her then 13-year-old daughter was friends with a group of students who transitioned to the opposite gender, a group. Her daughter reportedly expressed her own confusion over gender during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Littlejohn later discovered the student's school had been developing a transgender support plan with a young teen in August of 2020. Littlejohn said she was told by the school she could not be involved because of a non-discrimination law. She was also told by administrators that they could not disclose what had happened during their meetings with her child. Eventually, we did see the transgender support plan, which was a 6-page document that they completed with my daughter, who was 13 at the time, behind closed doors, where they asked her questions that would have absolutely impacted her safety. So this is why they passed the Parental Rights and Education Bill, because schools are withholding this information and parents have rights over their kids.
And this is like a tame example too. If you go to, there's a really interesting Substack. It's called PITT Parents, P-I-T-T Parents. It stands for Parents with Inconvenient Truths About Transgenderism. There's just like endless testimonies of these parents and the absolute hell that the schools put them through, where the schools it's extremely manipulative. They triangulate with the child against the parents, and it's horrific. They'll get Child Protective Services involved. I know parents who have had Child Protective Services called on them multiple times because they don't want to transition their 12-year-old girl who's been convinced that she's a boy at school.
That is disgusting.
So
it's horrific.
You mentioned in a previous segment just earlier that you're on Tumblr and they tell you things like just experiment, like cut your hair. You know? And then when you do, they start praising you. They love you with praise. There was a subreddit for detransitioners. I don't know if you're familiar. It's gone now.
Yeah. I don't believe it's gone. I believe that it's been down at certain times. I mean, if it is gone, then...
well, there was one I remember a long time ago that I remember it disappeared.
Okay, that might have been the first one, because there is one I think that's still active right now. I don't really browse it, so I'm not sure if it got banned recently or something. But
there was also a website that's gone that was for detransitioners. And the point that they were making was, if you go online and you're feeling these things, the only thing you will see is positive.
Yes.
You will see no negative elements. You will see no detransitioners.
Yes.
You will see nothing but it was the best thing I ever did. When in reality, it's because the people who question it are getting banned, and the people who bring up these conversations are getting banned as well.
Exactly, because the far left and big tech is doing everything within their power to erase the existence of people like you.